So let's have a little story time with you, kids. Mewtwo here with you tonight, and we're going to talk about more about the room change that I just incurred, and what's gone on, and why this mattered so much. To start this all up, we need to move back about 13-ish years, something like that, when Autumn and I first got our apartment. Now, we had a one-bedroom apartment with a really big kitchen and a tiny living room. But we worked with what we had. We lived there for 8 years. And because we had a lot of stuff, the kitchen was mostly usually full of stored items. The bedroom was full of stored items. And the living room was where we basically lived. Um, so we had to make best use out of space. Uh, in that room, we had a futon couch that was a bunk bed from back when I was a teenager. I'd got that and I'd used it for years and years, and it did a good function in the fact that the futon couch is on the bottom, so that meant space to sit, and the bed on top, well, it was a place to store stuff. uh, when you have limited space, all vertical space is your space. So that's what we ended up setting up. That was in the room, and we both needed a place to work from. We both worked from home, initially from different functions, but in the end, we did end up doing the same job in the end. Um, so we both needed a place for desks. So we had one on each corner of the room, opposite to where the couch is. Couch was on one wall, desk was on the other. And we needed a place for the TV since, well, desk, TV right in the middle, right across from the couch. And that's how things went. During the time we lived in that apartment, we changed desks a couple of times. In fact, the desks we end up with in the end are currently upstairs in our workroom. And we intend to keep them there for a really long time. They were not super expensive. We got them on a good sale. But, they're expensive enough that, that's more of a long-term furniture, not a temporary purchase. After we moved here, though, we initially put our computers up in that room. Our work stuff computer and our fun computer. This quickly became a problem. When we lived in the small apartment, we knew we couldn't escape the workroom. The best thing we could do is possibly go into the bedroom and shut the door and play on a laptop and watch on the other television, or put on some headphones and just try and block out the other person working. Here, we can actually escape the workroom. So, pretty quickly, I came up with the idea that we need to have the fun computers outside of that room. I don't think we lasted more than a month that way before the fun computers got to move down here. So, this room was currently not in use. We were still unpacking, mostly. But this room is where the modem was attached in because that's where it came with the house. And I was like, let's put up a couple of desks. I went to Walmart and bought these two tiny desks, which I showed in the previous video of what we had and stuff. Little 40-inch wide desks. They were just big enough to put two monitors on, which at the time is what we were both using. He was using two 23s. I was using a 23 and a 27. So just big enough. We had wings, okay? They were sticking off the edge, but the bases all sat on the desk, effectively. Computer tower sat on the floor next to the desk. And we had TV trays next to us because we needed actual space to put stuff eventually. We found that out after we decided we really kind of moved into those spaces. Um, so we set these up, and because they were set up and other things came into our lives, we ended up getting another couch given to us by his mom. So we put that out in the family room, pointing towards it. Can't see it. I promise it's that way. Uh, but I'd already had a couch in that room. You see, the futon itself, we didn't rebuild the frame. That's in the garage, and I really think we should throw it out. It's old. It's beat up. It is. It's old. There are parts of it that have broken. We've just been managing throughout all the time it was existent. So I'd end up just buying a basic futon couch frame, and I kind of set up a little gaming corner in the family room for retro stuff. Never really sat down and played with it. I set it up thinking I'd want to. I didn't. No major regrets. Not much expenditure was put onto that. Mostly just the futon couch frame. And since we had a regular couch, which not exactly the most comfortable, we put it in that room where we're not really sitting as much. And I moved the futon out to this room. And since I moved the futon out here, we had a spare television now that wasn't currently just sitting in a corner. I put the TV in this room. And since I put the futon on this wall, where my desk currently is, there was a space between our two desks. We had the kind of kitchen island table, which you saw in the previous video, that's what the TV's still sitting on. I just stuck it there. I'm like, you know what? TV, have a home. At the time, most of our television entertainment was coming out of the computers anyway, so just HDMI'd myself into it. We had television entertainment again. Things like YouTube and Kim Cartoon and stuff like that. This was pre our own having a Netflix account, mind you. Uh, I brought a few of the game systems out. The PS2, so we could have DDR, which I think we played all at once since we moved in there. The Wii for Wii Fit and the DDRs we have on there. And the PS3 because Blu-ray player. And it also had some media options in it, which we found out pretty quickly the YouTube app did not work. Now, I didn't think about it until well into having set it up, and we'd been using it for a while. We had a futon couch, opposite, two computers, our desk that we'd spend a lot of our fun time on, surrounding a table with our television from Carlisle. I had recreated our apartment. Now, in a lot of ways, this is good and bad. It's good that it made a transition space for us, one that I didn't mean to do, but it definitely helped a lot. We have a living room, and I actually made sure the living room was a living room. It has a couch. It has our big, nice television. It has the PS4, the Switch, stuff like that, and a 4K Blu-ray player to go with the 4K TV. It's comfy. It's good to lounge in. We even set up a place out there. We have the dining room over there where we set up the dining room type table and chairs. So we actually had this space. But this other room, which is technically labeled as the dining room per the house specs, we had turned into the computer room. Or as both of us have kind of referred to it as apartment part 2. Because that's really what it became. And we kind of dealt with this for about 3 years after that. Maybe 3.5, give or take. I don't remember exactly the day I started this process of turning this into a lounge room. But it was comfortable. It made a space that made us feel more where we wanted to be or where we thought we wanted to be. Pretty quickly, though, we found out I wasn't sure how much we'd actually use this space as space, more as just a place where we'd work on our computers, and we'd spend more time lounging in other parts of the house. Um, More and more things began to live at those desks and use those spaces as space. Hence why the TV trays were set up next to our desks and kind of didn't go away. Um, and that started to be a problem. Our space was really cramped. We did not build that space as a permanent location, and it was beginning to fail in that function. So, for a few months here, we've been talking about improving our space and getting shiny new desks. Shiny desks. Something with a little more space to them. And at first, we were actually just measuring out to use the same locations. Keep ourselves as wings around that table. And first thing I found was if you took the math of how big the table was, how big the wall was, we were just shy of every single desk we could possibly want. It was frustrating immediately because it's like I can't do what I want to do. I can't make this space work. And then it came to me. That wall behind me had nothing on it. There was a long stretch from behind my desk to where that first shelving unit is. Why is this an empty space? And that's when the revelation came. We need to change. So this room transformed and is in the process of transforming from apartment living room part 2 to the study. At least that's what I feel like calling it. We translocated our desks about 2 weeks ago. We moved them over, mine over here, and his kind of tilted and went corner ways and back to facing this wall. This, all on its own, just moving that, and moving the couch behind me, the TV to my right, opposed to over there, was an amazing change. It actually made a big change in our day. We were only one step into this process, and I was already excited by what we'd come up to. And then the desks moved in. The process of putting those together was not actually bad, but these desks were 3 boxes each. The biggest box, according to UBS, was 88 pounds. The other 2 weren't that light, but that was the biggest of each of the 2 box sets. That's a lot of pieces. But we got them assembled and put into their places, and all of a sudden, I thought the room had transformed when we moved our positions of our desks to over here and cornerways over there. I had no idea until the actual desks were in place how much it actually felt like we had more space, even though these desks take up more space because they have so much surface area and so much vertical that we can work with compared to those basic desks. And that really has been cementing this room from a transition room to a more permanent designed room where we actually had time to plan and think out and make something out of it. Yes, these desks cost a lot more than the little POSs I'd put in initially from Walmart. Those things were like, I can't remember for sure on the price because this was 3.5 years ago and I bought them on a flip whim. I think they were either like $50 or $80 a piece. Something like that. They were almost nothing. They were just Walmart basic, super cheap furniture. Um, they held their purpose here. They held up our monitors. Now we wanted something that was us, making the space ours. And I feel that we have successfully made the space ours, and it became something amazing. It became a study. It became a space, a real space, a vibrantly spacious space uh, that we can express ourselves and relax in. Uh, I mean, there's only a few main cogs left in the system that need to be taken care of next time I go out shopping. It should probably be sometime after Christmas. Uh, Probably gonna upload this Tuesday, so that there you'll not have to think too hard about that. Uh, and we'll get those two bookshelves that I want to put in over beside his desk. Uh, and get that printer stand down there. Just basically fill in the blanks. Get the printer off the floor. I don't want it to live there for too long. But give it in a permanent home. Give everything a more permanent space. And I think it's going to be good. So I feel like we've had a transformative function in our lives, and that's a big deal for me. Uh, our space isn't just someone else's house. It isn't just putting our stuff in a room where we found space. We took the time to take the space, make it our space. To make something your space doesn't mean you have to repaint the walls, knock out a doorway, or uh, put in new carpet. You just have to invent the space, fully make it yours. And at the moment, I feel like we've actually made this space our space. Things may change over the years. Monitors will change, keyboards will change, TVs may change. Game systems under the TV may swap in and out. Who knows? Things on the bookshelves may alter. Uh, but the key elements, the function, and what we've come to create here has now become our space. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really happy to see that has happened. So that was a rather long-winded view of my view on our space. If you actually sat through and watched that, I appreciate you listening to me babble on. Uh, so, if you could, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any comments, like about how your space is, or what you think of our space, let me know. Did you ever have a similar journey from accidentally recreating a confined environment that you were doing everything you could to escape, and you accidentally recreate it out of necessity and out of seeking kind of a safe spot? Eh, comment something, whatever floats your boat. And if you're so inclined, the Patreon link will be in the description box below. For now, this Pokemon is going to phase on out, and I will see you all again on another video. Bye bye.